Steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
Oh! He broke his ankles. Now he's got an entourage. And he's got a touchdown. He is Houdini. Going deep into the end zone and caught by Chase. Oh my goodness, what a grab! 34-yard touchdown throw.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Dynasty Nation. Got our week 9 recap this week. It was another fun week, but before we get started, just want to say congratulations to our friends Jason and Amanda on an awesome wedding this past weekend. It was a great time. We all had fun. Surprised we both have our voices, Kev.
Dude,
Kev,
I just got it back yesterday, honestly. Lincoln Park, man, it'll do a number on you. But I'm doing good, man. We had an exam. The wedding was on a Saturday. I had my exam on a Monday, and then I had a skills check this morning on the ankle. So, but now I'm done. I'm chilling for a while. No tests to worry about. So I wasn't even able to watch too much football this weekend, but I get to talk about it. So happy to be here. Happy to get into it.
Yep. So let's go ahead and get into it. Why don't you give us the news, Mr. Kev?
All right. So first major news to report. So Josh Allen, he did take a bit of he was in the pocket. I believe he got stripped, from a defender.
Yep.
So he's going back to throw. He's up here, and the defender kind of pushed his arm back, which puts a lot of stress on the closer side of his elbow. It's the medial side. And basically, this is actually a very common injury in pitchers, and actually could lead to what's, as we all know, is Tommy John surgery. So Josh Allen we don't know exactly what happened, but his mechanism of injury was definitely kind of in that territory. I don't want to speculate too much. I did not watch the game. I just saw that little quick, 5-7 second clip of it happening. I know the Bills are coming out saying they expect him to play. I expect him to play as well. So I'm not going to worry too much about it until we know anything more, anything else comes out, but didn't look good. And it also was mid throwing. So he's putting that extra torque on it. It's not common with quarterbacks. It can happen. It's throwing motion. But we'll see. It didn't look great. So we'll wait to see anything more from that.
Yeah, it kind of feels like this is one the Bills are going to hold close to him up until kickoff, really, of next week. You're not going to really hear anything until, either Case Keenum's on the field or Josh Allen's taking warm-ups. So just something to keep an eye on and see, if Josh Allen plays, if it has any effect on him, if, maybe you don't watch him throwing as many deep balls or something, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last little piece of news I wanted to bring up was just Colts head coach Frank Reich fired, got the boot. Been a disastrous season, and Jim Irsay was like, that's it, I'm done, get the hell out of here. And kind of a surprise move, Jim. They hired Jeff Saturday, who is a great player, obviously played much of his career with Peyton Manning. Just an interesting hire, in my opinion. We'll see how it works out. I guess it can't get much worse for them. But yeah, Jeff Saturday is in as head coach, so good for him, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It almost feels like a tryout as a coach almost with Jeff Saturday to see if what he's got. I think they said he was coaching high school football or something.
Yeah. So it's a little bizarre, but
yeah, a little off the radar, or a lot off the radar, really. Yeah. But I think they said the quarterback coach too is going to be calling the offensive plays. No one on the coaching staff is called a play right now in their careers. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out this week with the communication.
Give the ball to JT. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen, in all honesty. Jeff Saturday's an offensive line guys. You'd be like, yeah, just get these guys in the trenches and push them around.
There you go.
All right. So with that, let's go ahead and recap a very interesting week number 9. We'll start off with what was Rich's dud of the week, which was Chubby Stafford getting the win here, beating Bateman and Robin 131.80 to 81.92.
Yeah, man. This is obviously expected win for Mr. DeVito here. And yeah, I mean, not much I could say. I mean, having Eckler back, it's got to be nice off the bye, and comes back. And even though the Chargers as a whole weren't doing much, Eckler gets his, man, and has another great game, putting up 24.10, does have the touchdown, two touchdowns, one through the air, one on the ground. And I mean, quick highlight, Devontae Adams. I mean, complete dud last week. And then this week, the Raiders are still mid, but Devontae Adams is that guy, dropping 36.6, 146 yards and 2 touchdowns on 10 receptions. So pretty dominant, if you ask me, Jim.
Yeah, they definitely made sure they got him involved this week for sure. I mean, he had 17 targets, 10 catches, 146 yards, and the 2 touchdowns, like you mentioned. Yeah, just a crazy week. To highlight some players on Jason's side, he did have Lamar Jackson having all right night, maybe a little on the lower side for what you expect from Lamar Jackson, but 17.52. So not a bad day. But Garrett Wilson was really the highlight for him. He had 8 catches for 92 yards, putting up 17.9 points this week. So another exciting rookie in Jason's lineup as he heads into 2023.
Oh yeah, man. And just a quick highlight, just because I thought he would have a good game, and sure enough, he did. My man's Josh Palmer basically acted as the wide receiver 1, 8 catches, 106 yards. So another solid game for him too. So, obviously it didn't matter. Jason still sucks eggs, but it's good. It was nice to see. It was nice to see.
All right, moving on here to our next game. Run CMC beating Fossil Fuel. And when I say beating, I mean beating the brakes off of Fossil Fuel. 197.34 to 112.44. And it was just an unbelievable week for my squad.
Yeah, Jim, I'll let you get the layup because I think it's only right that you talk about it. So I'll just talk about Cooper Kupp, man. Cooper Kupp, just another typical performance. Cooper Kupp, obviously, I think still is the best receiver in football. He had 8 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown, dropping 26.8. Just ho-hum. Cooper Kupp does his thing. He's a well-oiled machine, man.
Yeah, like you said, the layup this week, the newly acquired first game with Run CMC. Hello, Joe Mixon. Welcome to the squad.
What a way to enter. Oh, my gosh.
55.1 points, the second highest ever by a player in our league. This is the second year. He had 22 carries, 153 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, and 4 catches for 58 yards and another touchdown for a humongous day. Insane.
Absolutely insane, dude. And I mean, I was very steadfast about Mixon, man. I mean, yeah, he was starting out kind of, he's solid. We knew the Bengals were going to turn around offensively, at least, and I said I did believe Mixon would still be top 5. I mean, he was top 5 last year, and I thought the offense got better, offensive line improvements, and when they started out kind of slow, we were like, maybe not. I was pretty firm. I was like, I still think he's going to be good. And then a game like this will definitely bring him back and up those rankings.
Yep.
So yeah, man, it's got to feel good. I mean, look at him now, all the way up to RB2 after that. I didn't even realize. But yeah, man, great for Mixon, great for you. What a move. And not that you needed all those points to beat Justin this week, but yeah, definitely making you that much more threatening against Andrew come playoff time.
Yeah, it's almost like a blessing in disguise that Carmine, in my opinion, overvalued Josh Jacobs, which made me pivot to go for Joe Mixon, and then look what he does now. I mean,
crazy.
Hopefully he keeps that. I mean, 55 is actually a lot. I don't think he'll keep that production up, but hopefully he keeps up a great production down the stretch here for me into the playoffs, and hopefully deep into the playoffs. Looking on the Fossil Fuel side, he was led by Patrick Mahomes. No surprise really there. 34.14 points. He threw the ball 68 times in this game, which is absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
Completing 43 of them for 446 yards. Only had 1 touchdown through the air. Also had a rushing touchdown as well.
Yeah, man. Just like we were saying in our episode with Bob, just, he's just all around, just I think the best quarterback in football. He can do everything. Very accurate, just huge arm, and he's got mobility and gets in the end zone with his legs. So Yeah, man. Mahomes is elite. Like, not much more I could say.
It's really not, but
Yeah.
definitely going to be a tough pill to swallow with Justin taking another L. See how that affects him going forward here.
Yeah.
Next, let's go to Rags to Riches beating Gunnar Grogan 122.38 to 102.08 to separate these teams that started this matchup both at 4-4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I know Richie highlighted him in our last week's episode, but yeah, his man's Kenneth Walker the third, man. Another great game. This guy is really special, man. I gotta be honest. 26 carries, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and an additional 3 receptions for 20 yards. So, I mean, what more can you ask for, man? I mean, like, Cardinals, yeah, they're, nothing crazy defensively, but dude, he's a rookie, I mean, for Richie, I mean, it's got to feel, I mean, he's over the moon. I already know. So it's like good. It's good for him, good for Kenneth Walker, good for the Seahawks. And yeah, I mean, Richie might be making a case to be a playoff team.
He's definitely making a push. And I'm sure he's happy the support he's getting here from his favorite team, the Miami Dolphins, with Tua putting up 24 points. Jalen Waddle adding to it with another 19.5. So definitely going to be exciting to see how Rich goes, now that he's crossed the 500 plateau and is officially in this playoff race.
Oh, yeah.
Over to Grogan's side, a little bit disappointing. He started off hot and now is on a 2-game losing streak here. Some of the players have been a little bit disappointing, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire only putting up 2.9 points this week. I mean, honestly, you can't even really blame him when they only run the ball. I mean, he only got the ball up 4 carries, but Mahomes throws it 68 times.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They're a very one-dimensional offense, but I mean, it works when you have a guy like Mahomes. Yeah, it's just he doesn't get the work. Neither does Pacheco, but whatever. But yeah, man, he's just mid. And I mean, again, it's one thing to not get the work, but also he's not efficient. Even with the work he does get, So Grogan, I'm glad you enjoyed him when that, it was fun, man. It was fun. And like I said, I said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say it a 4th time. I'll say it a 5th time. He's not winning another game. Not a good team.
It's going to be interesting. I haven't looked at his schedule to verify that, but
I have. Trust me. It's not looking good.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he did have another big game, though, from Mecole Hardman as part of this passing offense, obviously. 6 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown. Is Mecole Hardman someone we should start to be watching out in this Kansas City offense?
I think he definitely is, man. I do think, at a certain point, you're in the NFL. I mean, you don't get into the NFL if you're not one of the greatest competitors on planet Earth. No matter what your role is, whether you're elite or not, you got to be almost cold-blooded to make sure you get your reps, earn your spot. Hardman's been around the Chiefs for a while now, and I mean, the Chiefs just keep bringing new guys in. At a certain point, he's got to be like, dude, fuck this, watch this, And I like Hardman, and it's nice to see him start to turn the corner. I don't know how consistent this will be, but I do believe Sky Moore eventually will get more integrated, maybe next year, potentially, but Hardman's still young, and I know they just got Kadarius Toney, so we'll see how that factors in moving forward. But yeah, man, I think Hardman might finally be piecing it together, which is great for Grogan, honestly.
Yeah, like you said, it seems like Hardman's been one of these guys for a couple of years now. You're like, all right, he's due. He's going to have this breakout year. He's got like the speed. He's got shiftiness, like all the things that people highlighted for Tyreek Hill. They're like, all right, he's like a slightly lesser version of Tyreek Hill. So finally, maybe starting to see some of this, now they don't have Tyreek Hill trying to find a way to utilize some of those same skill sets. And it's finally coming to pay off for him here.
For sure.
So with that, let's go to our next matchup here. Chicken Parmesan, 151.8, the second highest scoring team this week, beating Taylor Swift's McLaurin F1, 96.6. Kev, what's going on?
What's going on is my team is dead, and we're not coming back to life anytime this season. So hats off to Carmine. Give you a little round of applause. He's hurting his draft stock, and I like to see that. Way to go, Carm. Nice.
Yeah, the highlights of players on Carmine's side. We got Travis Etienne, 26.6 points this week. He had 28 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Also added 17 yards on 2 catches.
Yeah, man, that's my boy. I love him, man, and he's really exciting. I was almost as high on Etienne as I was on Javonte Williams, and then obviously Etienne had that devastating injury, so it changed things a little bit. But hey, he's looking great, and I'm really happy for him. And just a great weapon to have. I know he played in college with T-Law, so he's already got that chemistry. And one of his greater assets was catching the ball, but dude's getting 28 carries. Like, he's a workhorse. All they had to do was get rid of James Robinson. And, James Robinson, we didn't mention him before for Grogan's team. Solid game. Looks pretty good at times for the Jets. But yeah, man, Etienne is crushing it right now. It's insane to say the least.
Another part of Carmine's team that we probably should have highlighted, and I mean, how we missed it is kind of crazy. The Patriots defense going up against rookie Sam Ellinger.
Yeah, true.
I mean, they just absolutely annihilated them. 27 points as a defense.
Mm-hmm.
You mean they had an interception, only gave up 3 points, only have 121 yards.
Crazy.
They had 9 sacks, a touchdown, and a blocked kick.
Yeah. Again, we've already kind of mentioned it 100 times, but the Colts are an absolute disaster. Yeah, we really should have highlighted the Patriots defense, man, because Ellinger ain't it. I mean, Matt Ryan's hurt. He wasn't it either. So, I mean, and the Patriots, they're known for having the defense. And yeah, man, it's just an absolute nightmare for the Colts. Alexi, I'm all in our league, big Colts fan. So I'm sure he's miserable. He'll be even more miserable when he misses the playoffs. But yeah. But yeah, man, all around, just an absolute thumping of the Colts by the Patriots today.
Yeah, I mean, Belichick always kills the rookie and young quarterbacks, first, second year guys every time. And just, I'm upset we didn't see it, to be honest. Yeah. But that's just an absolute thumping, as you said.
Right.
Over to your side, though, let's highlight TJ Hockenson here. First game in Minnesota. Kind of curious how he would have adjusted to the offense. How much he would have got the plays in. On a short week, so to say. Yeah. But he had just 9 balls for 70 yards, man. It's a solid day at the office.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I think, honestly, and we touched on it a little bit last week, but I really do believe he's just going to kind of overtake Thielen as that number 2 guy for the rest of the year, and then certainly moving forward in next year and moving forward after that. But yeah, I really do believe being with the Vikings now, he's finally going to get that consistency that you like to knock him for not having. The talent is there. He's showcased it throughout his career, kind of breaking out at an early age, which is rare for tight ends. And he's doing his thing. And I mean, he's a focal part of that offense. I mean, 9 targets, man. You don't walk up the street and get 9 targets, especially as a tight end too. It's a big part of that offense moving forward, man. It's a shame it won't help me much this year. So yeah, it's an absolute mess, man. Really quick, I just want to just highlight Cordell Patterson. Welcome back, man. Obviously, I did not start him. I wanted to kind of see how he would look off the meniscus, but comes back, and the Chargers have been just nothing to write home about. And Cordell Patterson comes in, 13 carries for 44 yards, but he gets in the end zone twice, an additional reception for 9 yards, just to tack that on as well. Yeah, I mean, he's a good running back, and we'll see where he ends up if I do trade him or if I hang on to him and try to steal a win or 2 down the stretch.
Yeah, I am curious to see how it plays out, with these other running backs still playing a role this week, if it was just because, it's his first week back, or if this is going to be something permanent with Algier, Huntley in the mix a little bit here going forward. I think Algier will be in the mix. It's Huntley, I think, that's more kind of could be on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, let's go ahead and move on to our next matchup here, which was Evil Empire beating the Saddest Man 101.5 to 88.06. And TJ improves to 3-6 now, and he had a decent week out of some players here. Let's highlight Juju here. You know, this pass happy Kansas City offense. He looked like a solid option on third downs for Patrick Mahomes in this one. Caught 10 balls for 88 yards this week.
Yeah, obviously the numbers are a bit inflated just because, like we said, Mahomes threw it like 60 some on times, whatever it was. But yeah, man, solid game. He's a good slot receiver. You know, he is reliable. He's certainly does not have the upside he did his rookie year, second year with Pittsburgh. That's for damn sure. But he has a role and he's on with a good offense. We'll see if the Chiefs bring him back. I'm sure he's making a point that he deserves to be brought back. But of course, that is yet to be seen. We'll see. But good game.
Over to Bob's side, he had Michael Carter in his lineup this week, you know, newly acquired as well. Puts up 15.6 points against Buffalo. I was a little nervous for him. I have him in another league too to start in Buffalo, but I was forced into it by the Jonathan Taylor not playing. Yeah. And but I would take the 15.6. Not bad against Buffalo.
Yeah, man. I mean, I figured the first thing you would say, but how about the win? I mean, beat the Buffalo Bills. I mean, come on now. That's hats off to you guys, man. I mean, that's you know, we just had our interview with Bob. I should have said that earlier, but you know what? No one saw that coming. I think that's fair to say. The Bills have been dominant, and the Jets get a big win at home. That's awesome, you know. But yeah, man, Michael Carter, you know, with no Breece Hall there, of course, he's going to be the biggest beneficiary of that. And yeah, solid running back, you know, definitely very good. So yeah, good to see him have a solid week against a tough defense.
Yeah, absolutely. The last play I want to highlight for Bob, who had an absolute baller of a week, as you like to say, Dallas Goedert put up 24 points, had 8 catches for 100 yards on the nose, and added a touchdown. Currently, Goddard's the tight end number 4 here. Do we think Bob holds on to him, or is that a potential trade piece for him?
It's tough. I think it's, you know, he does have Kyle Pitts now, and that's more of like a, you know, foundational asset for him moving forward. It's tough because Dallas Goedert, you know, he's still in his prime and he's young. He still is young for a tight end, 27, you know, yet. So tight ends usually can still be very productive later into their 30s, you know, still be solid. Tough to say. I don't know. I really don't know how or what he would be looking to do. It's not a bad idea if he were to trade him, but I'm gonna say he doesn't. Unless, as he would like to say, he needs to be wowed. So
yeah, I think it's the same way. He's probably in that got to be wowed phase. I think until Kyle Pitts proves it that he can be a weekly starter, I think he's going to hold on to Dallas Goedert. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some other contenders that don't have Travis Kelce come a calling.
Oh yeah. And just really quick, I just want to make sure we mention it. Justin Fields on this man's bench, dropping 42.72 this week. Dude, this man didn't do anything crazy through the air. Did have 3 touchdown passes, only passed for 123 yards, but he set an NFL record this week. You know, he had 178 rushing yards and a touchdown. And I forget how long that big run was, Jim, but I don't
remember off the top of my head what it was,
but it was a very long run. And that was, you know, that might've been the one that broke the record when he had that run, or it was like close to it at that point, but still absolutely insane. 4 total touchdowns. And just, dude, I mean, we always knew he had the mobility, but oh my God, I did not, if anyone was going to break Vic's record, I thought it was gonna be Lamar, but Justin Fields just said, watch this. Like, and yeah, man, just absolutely insane. And obviously unfortunately the Bears couldn't get the win, but you know, if Bob had started him, you know, he would have gotten a win. So tough.
Yeah, it is tough, but I'm not sure it's what Bob really even wanted.
He claims that he's going to win every game, or he's doing his best to win every game. I still think he's full of shit, but you know, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. With that, let's bring it to our matchup of the week this past week, which we had Chrome Future going up against I'm All In Alexi here, which was a critical matchup for Alexi if he was gonna continue to make a little bit of a push here for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And well, Chrome Future took this one 140.6 to 108.5. And Alexi is on a 3-game skid going into week number 10.
Yeah, man, I mentioned it really briefly with our interview with Bob, but he acquires Tyreek Hill. He hasn't won a game since having him. And Tyreek Hill has been playing like Tyreek Hill. Like, he's been good, and it's the rest of his team is just letting him down big time, man. I mean, Michael Pittman, I get it. The Colts are not playing well, but Michael Pittman, he had a lot of expectations for, and you did too this year, Jim.
Yeah.
So it's just not looking good for him at all. I know he had Romeo Dobbs. He did get hurt against Detroit, but it's just not looking good for Alexi, and he might be having a similarly epic of a collapse as my season, except he's got all veterans. So
yeah, it's a bit crazy to see. Obviously his team name is I'm All In, but
yeah.
Bob claims he didn't pull the trigger on a certain trade. So is he truly all in? We don't really know.
I don't know, man.
But looking at the players in this matchup, as you mentioned, Tyreek Hill still doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
7 catches, 143 yards, and a touchdown against the Chicago Bears this week.
He's already got like 1,100 yards receiving, and I think I forget where that ranks like all time. I think that might be the fastest. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I thought I saw this recently, but like the quickest to reach that mark in however many games he's played. It was like 9 games or whatever it was, 8 or 9 games. Crazy. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, Tyreek Hill is an absolute game changer. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with him. But I mean, he's obviously going to give Alexi that much needed advantage down the stretch. But if the rest of his team doesn't start putting up numbers that we should expect from them, it won't matter. And I'm going to look like a real big winner making that trade with him. So it didn't do anything for him. He's got to win a game sometime, right? Like, come on.
Yeah, you would think, man. But going over to Chrome Future side, Josh Allen puts up 24.8.
Right.
Justin Jefferson, 25.5. Derrick Henry, 23.5. I mean, it's just another week for Chrome Future where he's got multiple guys going 20 plus.
They're just so consistent, man. It's really what makes Andrew so deadly. It's just he has his stars and they do not let him down. Like, he can rely on that production each and every week. And it's one thing to have like those upside players, that could pop off, but they could also give you duds. Andrew's got a very safe team that has some boom players, but safe floors too at the same time. And then those guys, like you just mentioned, like Allen, like Diggs, like Jefferson, that are gonna give you those 20 plus points every week or damn near close to it every week. Yeah, just scary, man. It's insane, honestly. Every week it's dominant.
Yeah, and then one trade we actually didn't get to that took place just before this week's matchups. He made a trade with you to acquire Hayden Hurst for 2 4th-round picks. In exchange, you got 2 3rd-round picks.
Yeah, so in the end, it's like I traded 3/4 for 2/3. I took Hayden Hurst in our rookie draft with the 3rd to last pick. So I like Hayden Hurst. The real reason why I was motivated to do it was Cordero Patterson was coming off IR, so I needed to drop somebody or trade somebody away. I didn't really want to drop anybody. And I really like Greg Dulcich, man. I think, you full well, I was hyping him up before I even had him on my team. So, and now I have him and Isaiah Likely. He had the touchdown on Monday Night Football, but didn't really do anything else after that. But again, I think both of those guys are very exciting, both rookies. I didn't really have any use for Hayden Hurst. And I mean, Hayden Hurst will definitely help Andrew this season and maybe next year and the year after that. I like him a lot, I like his story. But yeah, like I said, I have other tight ends behind Hawkinson on my team that I like a lot for the future. So
yeah, I think it was a good move for you. I think really good move for both of you, in all honesty.
Yeah.
After Andy got rid of Waller, kind of looking for another, a matchup tight end here, and then like you said, you have depth at the tight end position. So
Mhm.
getting a couple of picks ain't bad at all.
Yeah.
So with that, that wraps up week number 9. So let's go ahead and take a look this week on the Dynasty Pick'em. We've got your boy 6-0. Not
All
the only one
right.
to do it anymore, Kev. Not the
Yes.
only one.
I should have joined you. I tried to be cheeky and I picked Alexi. Big mistake. Yeah, I honestly, it really came down to it. Andrew didn't have Saquon. So I was like, okay, Alexi has a chance. I did expect Andrews to play. He did not.
Yeah.
So once that happened, I was like, all right, well, it's a wrap. And even so, honestly, even if Andrews did play, it wasn't going to make a difference, in my opinion. So, yeah, tough for me, but I'll take the 5-1.
Yep, you and Rich both
Yeah.
going 5-1, so definitely solid weeks, just not undefeated.
Okay, can't win them all.
So on the season, that puts me at 40-14, a 74% win percentage there. Kev, you go to 35-19, which is 65%. Rich goes to 22-8, which is 73%.
I did up my percentage quite a bit though with that. That was big for me. The 6-0 would have helped a lot. But it's been a tough year picking for me. It was good. I was doing really well in the beginning. It's been tough, but it's all good. It's fun.
Maybe I'll redeem yourself in week number 10. Not redeem yourself, but keep this thing moving.
We hope so, man.
But before we get to week 10, let's take a look at the standings. Right now, we've got Chrome Future in first place at 8-1. Right behind him, only separated by 2 points in the points for category now. Run CMC also 8-1.
Crazy.
Third place, Chubby Stafford at 7-2. Then we got a little bit of a drop off here to fourth place. I'm all in 5-4, 3-game skid, like we said. Rags to Riches is in fifth at 5-4, quickly gaining here on a 4-game win streak now. So look for him to keep going, man. Sixth place, Taylor Swift McLaurin, 5-4, drops 2 in a row. Seventh place, Gunnar Grogan, 4-5. Eighth is Fossil Fuel, who's 3-6. Ninth, Chicken Parmesan, also 3-6. 10th place, Evil Empire, 3-6. Bateman and Robin in 11th at 2-7, and still pulling up the rear, the saddest man, 1-8 on a 7-game losing streak.
Yeah, I love when you say that. He's just gonna keep losing, and I cannot wait for him not to finish with or win the lottery and not have the first overall pick. It's gonna make me so happy. Literally, that will make this season worth it for me. Right? Even though I was bad, Bob was way worse, the worst team in the league, and doesn't get Bijan Robinson. I can't wait for that. I'm speaking it into existence. I can't wait to see it. Oh, way to go, Jason! You got Bijan and Brees Hall. Way to go.
What actually really intrigues me about the standings now, fourth place, 5-4, and then we get down to 10th, 3-6. Only 2 games separate these teams now from, teams we thought would be kind of near the bottom the way their season started, and teams that we thought were sure playoff teams the way their season started. And now it's getting right to the thick of the playoff race here. It's getting real interesting down this final stretch.
I agree, man. And even though I was kind of kicking Alexi while he was down a little bit, I do still think he has a chance to turn it around. It's just tough right now. It's hard to. His team is just letting him down. But he better figure something out fast because Richie's coming up real fast.
So with that, let's go to week number 10. All right, so week number 10 here, got some good matchups. Let's start it here with 8-1 Run CMC going up against 5-4. I'm all in. Kev, who do you like on Run CMC this week?
So right away, I'm just going to take Christian McCaffrey. I think he's just going to continue to ball out, man. I mean, the Chargers have been mid, so I expect McCaffrey to have himself a day.
All right. I'm actually looking to Amon-Ra St. Brown going against the Chicago Bears. Just gave up a 38, 35 points to the Dolphins. Granted, it's a different offense, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but
right.
Amon-Ra St. Brown's the guy in that offense now. So let's see what he can do.
Yeah, man.
Over to the I'm all inside. I'm curious what's going on with this Leonard Fournette situation here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Leonard Fournette to see, Seattle's defense isn't, fantastic, but so
Right.
I'm curious to see if he can get going against Seattle, and also curious how much he's involved this week.
I agree. It's a morning game. Are they playing in
Germany.
London? Oh, Germany. That's right. That's right. They did London.
The Germans, yeah.
Oh my God, I hate you. All right, so I'm not gonna go with the more obvious pick because I could just say Tyreek Hill, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna look at Michael Pittman to bounce back with new head coach Jeff Saturday against the Raiders, who Jeff Saturday before he was hired said they suck, or they're not good, or whatever he said.
I saw that.
Yeah, so let's see if Michael Pittman could bounce back against a much more favorable matchup.
I don't know, man. I like Michael Pittman, but Sam Ellinger ain't it, man. He ain't it.
Yeah. We'll see though. I don't expect him to win if that's what you want me to get to right now. So it's not gonna matter. But I didn't want to be basic and say Tyreek Hill. So
I like it.
Yeah, so I'm going run CMC with a big win, and just continue to roll and move up to 9-1. Crazy.
I'm sticking with me, even though I got my entire Bengals squad on bye this week. So we got Rodgers right now. I'm kind of undecided between Rodgers and Pickett right now. So we'll see. But in the end, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, I agree.
Next, let's go to 8-1 Chrome Future versus your 5-4 Taylor Swift McLaurin F1. So, Kev, why don't you give us someone from your side that you're looking forward to seeing this week?
I'm gonna go Terrace Marshall.
Ooh,
yeah, my guy Terrace Marshall playing Thursday Night Football against the Falcons. I think he's finally finding himself in a role that I expected him to have from day one. Robbie Anderson being gone, great. I expected that. Thought it was going to be by other means, but happy that he got traded away. Talented player, man. It's just bad situation, but PJ Walker has shown to have some moments. The Falcons defense is bad. And right now the Panthers offensive weapons are better than what the Chargers had last week, honestly. So I expect DJ Moore to get some attention. I think Terrace Marshall might find himself in the end zone 2 weeks in a row, man.
Yeah, he's definitely been getting more involved here now with Robbie Anderson gone. So you like to see that, formerly of Run CMC. But on your team, I'm gonna go Chris Olave this week against the Pittsburgh defense. Kind of a little bit not great since they've lost TJ Watt, and ever since then they just kind of don't look great as a team overall.
Right.
But I'm curious if Jarvis Landry's going to play. There's rumors that he was close to playing this week. I don't think it's really going to have an effect on Olave to go forward. I think he's clearly the number one guy there at this point. So I look forward to seeing him having a big game this week. Going over to the Chrome Future side, though, might be taking this one from you, Kev, but I'm going with Saquon Barkley against the Houston Texans. Another defense that's severely lacking talent.
Not it. Yeah.
So look for Barkley, and the Giants to maybe get a decent sized lead and then have Barkley just run the clock out.
Yep. And just to add on that, Giants coming fresh off the bye. Yeah, it's going to get ugly, I think, for the Texans, but the Giants always make things interesting, but they will pull out the win, and I expect Barkley to have himself a day as well. But to pick someone else here, I'm interested to see how Deebo Samuel looks this week. I'm not picking him because I think he's going to have a phenomenal game by any means, but he's been a little nicked up. But he's still a great player, and against an exploitable defense, I look for Deebo Samuel to kind of get back to putting up fringe wide receiver one numbers to kind of add on to just the dominance that Andrew has created for himself this season. And he hasn't been getting crazy contributions from Deebo this year. I'm going to look to see if he could start doing that and really just further cement his case as a great team, like a top one team. It's you're picking at straws between you two, but if you can get some production from Debo the way he expected going into the year, it's crazy what he can do.
Yep. So with that, I think we're both on the same side here, but I'm going with Chrome Future.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's not going to be close yet again. I'm honestly just having fun now. That's why I feel good about starting Marshall. I know Richie wanted me to do it last week, and it would have been the right decision. But not again, wouldn't have made one lick of a difference. But I've never started Terrace Marshall in my lineup yet. So this will be a first time I do that. And when I made that trade with you, I was really excited about it, kind of watch him develop. Yeah, I'm excited to see how he plays Thursday night, man. We'll see. But yeah, definitely taking a huge L and plummeting to 500.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right, with that, let's get to another interesting matchups here in the standings. Here we got 4 and 5 Gunnar Grogan going up against 3 and 6 Evil Empire. So, Kev, why don't you start us off with someone on Gunnar Grogan's side?
Sure. So I'm going to continue to not pick the easier ones here and kind of go with a bit more of a cheeky picks, if you will. So this week, I'm actually looking at Mecole Hardman to continue the momentum against the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. Like we talked about earlier, he's been getting more involved. Maybe he had something to prove with all the acquisitions the Chiefs have made. If he has another great week, it's for real. That's kind of the level of potential I'll put on it. If he goes off again, man, Mecole Hardman, I think finally has turned that corner and could very well be a reliable asset for Grogan moving forward. So I'm very curious to see how he does this week.
I'm going to go with Tyler Higbee this week. It's 3 straight games of really garbage points. I think his highest in the last 3 games is like a 3.3.
Yeah.
I know, Robinson looked to start getting involved a little bit more. Van Jefferson's back here. But I think it's time. Arizona has a pretty history of not being good against the tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if he can get going back to the way he was to start the season, where he was getting, eight targets a game about.
Yeah.
And being a pretty focal part of the offense. So
yeah,
I look to Tyler Higbee here. Going over to the Evil Empire side, I'm going to actually go with DeAndre Hopkins in the opposite side of this matchup, going against Jalen Ramsey. And I think it's actually time that Hopkins gets shut down. And I'm not sure he's going to have such a good game this week.
Interesting. I'm going to disagree with you. But that's what makes this fun, man. I think he'll still be great regardless of the matchup. But I was going to pick him. But because I think he's going to do well, I'm taking Kyler Murray. Obviously, his quarterback there in Arizona. So I think that's going to be a really fun divisional matchup between the Cardinals and the Rams. So yeah, man, I think Kyler Murray has proven to be very capable, reliable, so yeah, we'll see how he does.
I like it. All right. So Kev, who do you have this week in this matchup?
Yeah, man, I'm standing firm, man. I'm taking TJ to beat Grogan this week. And if he does, like I said, I looked ahead. The rest of his schedule does not get any easier. No easy games for Grogan. So if TJ beats him, I feel really good about my prediction.
All right, I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna go with Grogan in this one.
Okay.
I think it's time, some of these guys get going again. The Pierce, the Robinsons, getting more involved with the Jets offense. On some of these running backs. Oh my God, I forgot the Jets are on bye this week. But yeah, either way, I'm sticking with it, man. I think it's time Grogan gets a little boost from some of these guys he's been waiting for, especially if Jarvis gets back. I think it'll be a good addition to that wide receiver room for Grogan this week. With that, let's go to our next matchup, which is 2 and 7 Bateman and Robin going against 5 and 4 Rags to Riches.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you start us off with the Bateman and Robin side?
All right. So Bateman and Robin, no Lamar Jackson this week, no Garrett Wilson this week due to bye. Oh man. Oh, Jason. All right. So I'll take the easy one here and see about CeeDee Lamb having himself a day against the Packers. And for Jason to have a chance, CeeDee Lamb's got to break some records on Sunday. So
Yeah, on Jason's side, I'll take the other one that's I think only really relevant for Jason, which will be Kareem Hunt. And they just got run over Miami this past week. Granted, it was by a quarterback, Justin Fields, but
yeah,
just seeing some holes in that defense there. It's not the first time we've seen these holes, so
right.
maybe Kareem Hunt can get something if he gets enough time on the field without Chubb, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah.
Over to the rags to riches side. I'm gonna go with Cole Kmet actually in this one.
I like it.
Detroit Lions defense, also another not great defense, and he's coming off a really solid week. Maybe he could keep that going and finally be the tight end I think many people thought he could be going into the season.
Yeah, man. Obviously Kmet coming off a great game. Justin Fields doing his thing, but Kmet very, very reliable. Maybe this is again, I'm not gonna expect over 20 points from him every week, but
No.
definitely if we can get half of that,
Right.
Every week, that's great. Yeah, great. Would be great for Rich. So I like the pick. I'm looking at, he's got all of his studs back this week. I could say Ken Walker, any of the Miami guys, Brandon Ayuk. I'm not gonna do that. I'm going with the Eagles defense against the Commanders. We learned our lesson, not pick their defense last week. We're going to see fly Eagles fly on Monday night. And I think Washington is just hopeless. And hey, I love my man's Terry, but that Eagles defense is, phenomenal. They're a great team and they ain't losing to Washington. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I expect the Eagles defense to put up over 15 points.
I like it.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to go ahead and take rags to riches this week to go on a 5-game win streak, which would bring him to 6-4 after starting the season 1-4 this year.
Yeah, very impressive run that Richie's on. I'm also taking Richie with a big win against the lowly Bateman and Robin.
All right, let's go to our next matchup here, which is last place 1-8, the saddest man, and 3-6 chicken Parmesan. Kev, what side do you want to start aside?
I'll start with Bob's side. I do notice he has Prescott and right, the Jets are on bye, like you said. So that's why he's in there over Zach Wilson. Interesting. I'm going to look at Jeff Wilson this week. He's coming off a solid game. First game with Miami, gets the touchdown. I'm curious to see how he does this week. It seems like he has a very safe role already. And like we talked about with our episode with Rich, I mean, he already has that familiarity with McDaniels. So I look to see Jeff Wilson to get another touchdown.
I like it. You tipped the guy I was going to go after. That was nice.
Nice.
So I'm going to go back to old reliable here. My former man's Kyle Pitts. Just got to keep loving him, man. Yeah, tight end. He's going to be going up against Carolina this week. They've been putting up a little bit more of a fight, though, Carolina, these past couple weeks, all of a sudden. But it's going to come down to, will they finally let Mariota throw the ball more than, 10 to 15 times? And it really shapes up to how much of a fight I think Carolina puts up. And the way they've been playing the last couple of games, I think there's a chance they actually put up a little bit of a fight here.
Yeah.
Where Mariota might have to go ahead and throw that ball around a little bit.
Thursday night could turn into a pretty solid game.
It could. It definitely could.
Yeah.
For Chicky Parmesan's side, I'm going to go with Christian Kirk.
Nice.
Against the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, we've seen how many points the Chiefs can put out. So I think there's going to have to turn into a shootout where, Jacksonville's going to have to be throwing this ball around. And Kirk's their one wide receiver one there for sure, at least until next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
But right now he's the guy, man. And he's had a stellar season. So I'm looking for him to keep it going this week against Kansas City.
Nice. I like it. I don't want to take the same guy 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going to mix it up. And I'm going to go with Miles Sanders. It was a bit, there was some, when Carmine acquired him from Richie, it was like, Yeah, but Miles Sanders is kind of mid. Like that was the vibe around him. You know, he had all the upside and hype in the world his rookie year. Miles Sanders did, and kind of fell off. But this year, kind of back to those old ways a bit. And again, just the Eagles are dominant. I could see this getting out of hand quickly, and Miles Sanders continue to pick up first downs, and maybe they drive all the way down to the end zone because Washington will not be able to stop them, and maybe have a multiple touchdown game. So, yeah.
I like it. I like it. So with that, I'm going to take chicken Parmesan.
Yeah, man, there's no way I'm picking against Carmine after putting up the second most points, and he's playing against a team that is actively tanking. I don't care what he says. Yeah, Carmine with another big win.
Yeah, it's not me being no way I'm picking against Carm. It's no way I'm picking Bob. That's not
more of that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So with that, that brings up our last matchup, our matchup of the week for week number 10. And this week we've got a pretty interesting matchup here. The records maybe don't tell the full story in this one here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 3-6 Fossil Fuel going up against 7-2 Chubby Stafford. Kev, why don't you start us off?
So all right, so I'll look over at DeVito's side first, Chubby Stafford. For this one, honestly, I'm going to look at Nick Chubb, first game back after his bye, playing against the Dolphins. So yeah, man, I just think the Dolphins overall, they're great offensively. They have a solid pass rush, but their defense as a whole is still left a bit to be desired. The Browns aren't anything crazy, but they have one of the most elite run games in the league. Very tough to stop them. Yeah, I think Nick Chubb is a guarantee to score a touchdown and should have, at the very least, meet his projection, which is at 16.7 right now. So I expect him to have a solid game all around.
On the Chubby Stafford side, I'm going to highlight Alan Lazard here. I think he's going to be an X factor in this game one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off a pretty solid week in what was a pretty awful game for Green Bay, still puts up a pretty solid week last week. This week goes into Dallas, where you probably expect Trayvon Diggs to be on the other side of him.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure how well that's going to go for him. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's still Green Bay, and they're going to throw the ball a lot.
Right.
So I am curious to see how this one goes. I think it's going to be, like I said, a huge factor on which side wins this game.
Mm-hmm.
Now going over to the fossil fuel side, I'm actually going to go with another Thursday night special here. I'm going to go Deonta Foreman against the Atlanta Falcons. And I say that because I don't think he's going to be staying in the flex spot where Justin has him right now. I think he's going to have to move up to the running back spot. Aaron Jones is questionable, and it doesn't seem too great, but we'll see either way if he's going to be able to play. Now recent news says he should be able to play, but
yeah,
still you don't know how much he's going to play.
Right. I do expect him to play, but kind of just to your point with Chubby Stafford's team about Alan Lazard, I think I agree, because I also think Aaron Jones on Justin's team is not going to do much at all of anything. I could be totally wrong, but I expect Aaron Jones to struggle against a good defense, and he is a little injured here. So I like the Lazard pick a lot, and I'm going to look to Aaron Jones to not do great. But a player that I would like to highlight additionally, I'm going to pick Zach Ertz, man. He's been having a great season. It's just crazy. I don't understand why he's so underrated every single year. It's like this man was a perennial top 4, top 5 tight end every year in Philadelphia, gets traded to the Cardinals, still finishes top 5. Where is he right now, Jim? 3.
I know. I tried all offseason to pry him off of Justin's head, so he definitely doesn't undervalue him.
Yeah.
I was trying to add him to back up Kelsey this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't taking it.
And he's one of those guys that's just going to be, he's 31, but that doesn't even matter for tight ends. Like, he's going to be good for another 4 or 5 years, in my opinion. He'll be in his late 30s and still putting up solid production, in my opinion. Like, he's a great tight end,
All right. So with that, it's time for the picks. Kev, you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You go first. I'm set on my position. I'll pick right after you do.
I am as well. I think there's going to be some changes to the lineup. I think Jones will be out, and I expect somebody else to get in here. Maybe Mooney against Detroit. And with that, I think it's got to be enough for Fossil Fuel to take this win against Chubby Stafford. At he's got some talented players, man, with Mahomes, Moore playing Atlanta, some good guys here. Stafford for Chubby Stafford's been a little bit interesting. Keenan Allen and Jimmy's. It's like he trolls the show almost by putting him in his lineup every week just to take him out on Sunday.
Right.
So it will be interesting to see, but I'm sticking with Fossil Fuel this week.
Yeah, I like it. I'm disagreeing with you. I am going to take Chubby Stafford this week. And it just comes down to the running backs, man. Again, with Jones kind of nicked up, Kamara, yeah, he's got a good matchup this week. And, as we've seen, he can easily win this matchup for Justin himself. It's really going to come down to, DJ Moore. Does he do his thing? I mean, we're looking at last week, Terrace Marshall, low key was getting a little bit more involved than Moore. We'll see if that continues. I don't know. But yeah, I look to see Chubby Stafford pull this one out, even if Keenan Allen doesn't play.
All right. I like you. So we got a couple of different ones this week. We got 2 different ones this week. So we'll see. Make sure you guys check out the Big Rich breakdown too for his picks. We'll see where if we got anything the same here, anything different. Also big week this week, Kev. The alumni, SUNY Cortland versus Ithaca in the Cortica Jug at Yankee Stadium.
Let's fucking go. Crazy. See what?
See State.
Let's go. Come on. Give me a great game, man. I'm excited.
All kinds of fired up, man. Fuck Ithaca.
Let's go. Let's go. FUIC. Come on now. What you know about that?
So with that, we'll be back for week 10 recap next week. And we'll see where we're all standing and how we're looking going forward as we inch closer to the playoffs.
Coming, man. Real quick.
All right. With that, peace out, boys. We'll see you later.
Soul aim for the stars, my people, we never fall. Yes, I'm a man when I'm touching the earth, call me